Portland Gold got their 4-game road trip off to a rough start after back-to-back losses in Boston and then Brooklyn.
Nets 111, Lakers 108, and the Lakers drop to 40-23.
The Lakers road trip rounds out with a big game in Milwaukee on Thursday and then Denver on Friday night.
I think just having 2 days between the games is going to help us a lot. A little more rest, but just go through plays, get our defense set, and just correct the mistakes.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
What is up, Laker fans? It's Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA, 7:10. Short show today, just 6 to 7 leading up to, is it Kings hockey? Is it U.S. Kings hockey coming up next? So just an hour, but a lot to break down with the Lakers. We got last night's loss in Brooklyn, extremely shorthanded loss. We've got an upcoming back-to-back in Milwaukee, then in Denver. Very, very challenging pair of games in a row that the Lakers are definitely going to be shorthanded for those two as well. It's a question of how shorthanded they will be, but they're definitely going to be missing people that matter. We can get a little bit into Luka and the officiating. We are now double-digit games into the Luka Doncic experience, which all in all has been pretty awesome, and you can see the potential both for this season and long-term with the franchise, but we are also getting an up-close and personal look at Luka's relationship with the officials, and let's just say it's not very good. We're also going to maybe follow up a bit on last week. We talked about the confrontation between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith courtside at the Crypt during Lakers-Knicks. Stephen A. Smith has elaborated a little bit further on his own podcast, so might get into some of his comments. And also, too, because it's a short show, really want to hear from y'all. 877-710-ESPN, 877-710. If you want to weigh in on what happened last night, if you want to weigh in on the upcoming road trip, what you're thinking about the Lakers right now, how you think they should handle the injuries with LeBron and Rui, or even somebody like Luka Doncic, who feels to me like he is still laboring with the back issue that he was clearly dealing with against Boston. That began just in his warm-ups. He wasn't comfortable, and it looked to me like he was still dealing with some residual effects against the Nets last night in Brooklyn. Austin Reeves also, I am wondering about the state of his health right now, because he's either not all the way back from the calf injury or he is exceptionally out of rhythm, because the 3 games he's been back, one of them has been aight, and the other 2 flat out terrible. So definitely want to get into all of that. Also want to let everybody know ESPN LA is proud to partner with Children's Hospital Los Angeles for the 10th annual Make March Matter campaign. We're helping kids get the breakthrough care that they need. CHLA gives family hope with their research and their treatments, and ESPN LA, to help support and provide this life-saving care, we are auctioning off exclusive 710 experiences, like co-hosting Lakers Talk with me one night for a show. Remember, every dollar that gets donated through this auction procedure, that all goes to CHLA. And again, you can bid on the opportunity to co-host Lakers Talk with me, hang out with DeAndre, hang out with Funchy. Also, too, if we're going to make this a little bit personal, raise the stakes a bit, Greg Bergman, Corporate Greg, texted me to let me know that the co-hosting Lakers Talk experience was now up on the site. Go to 710-4chla.com to bid. Again, 710, sorry. It's 710-4chla.com to bid. That's 710-4chla.com to bid. And Bergman let me know that this experience was up, co-hosting Lakers Talk, and that we'd already gotten some bids, which I was really excited about because it had only been up about an hour or so, and people were auctioning and bidding, which is fantastic. But Greg went out of his way to note that we're still trailing behind the Blue Review because they are auctioning off the opportunity to co-host the Blue Review with Greg and Marcus and Parker and all those guys. So I'm putting it out there. I want to generate more bidding than co-hosting the Blue Review because I think this is a far greater experience. I mean, I love the Dodgers, love all of our coverage here, but let's be honest, Lakers over Dodgers. Come on. I mean, the Lakers own this city. Like the Dodgers are strong parts of the fabric, but the Lakers own this city. So let's create a little game within the game, and I want to end up generating more bids for the Lakers talk.
Let's get to 500.
Let's get to 500. Exactly, because I don't want to say
Benjamins.
I don't want to say that Blue Review can't get there because I want them to raise this money. I want it to get high, but let's do the game within the game. Real quick before getting into specifically what happened last night against the Nets, Steven in El Segundo, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Steven?
Yeah, I'm here.
I love it. What's up?
Okay, hey, so tell me, Andy, the injury report right now that has been given. Can you tell me what's going on with that with the Lakers?
I don't think they have one updated right now since Brooklyn, just because there's a couple games they don't play again until Thursday. So last I checked, there was nothing new. If I had to guess, and I want to stress that this is a guess, and I appreciate the call, Steven. If I had to guess, Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith will be available Thursday. Again, this is just a guess, but it's because DFS, the way JJ talked about this, it sounded like it was more about maintenance, but they weren't overly concerned. And Jackson had at one point been questionable before he was out, so that's him trending in the right direction. LeBron and Rui will absolutely not be playing. Like, Rui's not even getting evaluated again until I think towards the end of this week at the earliest. LeBron is slated for 1 or 2 weeks. Minimum, I would err on the side of 2 weeks in terms of my expectations with LeBron, given the recurrence of this groin strain, given age 40, season 22, the mileage, yada, yada, yada. I would be expecting a 2-week absence from when this happened versus Boston, which was on Saturday. And if we are all pleasantly surprised, awesome. So last night, the Lakers are in Brooklyn, very shorthanded, as I mentioned, all the guys that were missing. And they end up losing 111-108 to the Nets. This was a game where the Lakers really needed to execute and focus on a higher level than ever, just because of everybody that's out. And they needed to be led by great performances from Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, the two best players active and healthy right now on the roster. And on a few fronts, that stuff did not happen. Luka and Reeves managed to combine for 22 points, 20 rebounds. Luka had a triple-double. Austin had a near triple-double, but they both struggled badly from the field. Luka, 22 points on 8 of 26 shooting, 3 of 10 from behind the arc. Austin was even worse. 17 points on 3 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from deep, 10 of 11 at the line, which is great that he got there that many times, but had he not been able to get to the line at all, Austin might have struggled to score 6 or 7 points in this game. He didn't even get to the line until 2.5 quarters into this game. And it's, like I said before, it's been a part of a continual struggle for Austin since he's returned from that calf injury. He just has not looked right. Austin owned how badly he played, said, quote, "I just thought I played incredibly bad. That's really as much as I can say about it. It's really frustrating not helping your team win. When LeBron's out, I got to be better. I wasn't, and that's one of the reasons we lost." And look, there were actually, on an individual level, some good supporting performances in this game. Gabe Vincent, 24 points on 8 of 12 shooting, 6 of 9 from behind the arc, plus 3 assists. Jordan Goodwin, 17 points off the bench, including a career-high 5 threes. He also had 8 rebounds. Jordan Goodwin continues to just be phenomenal on the glass, particularly for his position. Dalton Knecht, 19 points. Vando 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists plus a steal. He hit a corner 3. So if you're looking for something positive from the loss last night, you could say that the supporting guys who needed to step up to fill some of the void for LeBron, Rui, DFS, and Jackson, on an individual level, the guys that especially, too, are going to be in the playoff rotation, those guys stepped up. But it was really bad execution on both sides of the ball for the Lakers, and J.J. Redick was absolutely livid.
I think it was just an overall mentality just to take shortcuts tonight. We just wanted to take shortcuts. Too many. Yeah, they scored 20 points on us gambling. They had 16 offensive rebounds. We ball watched all night. We had no dare shots. I'll go through it. They probably made 6, 7 uncontested threes. Just shortcuts. You want to be a good team, you want to win in the NBA, you got to do the hard stuff. We couldn't even pass to each other. We couldn't enter our offense running ball screens literally at half court. Yeah, that's going to end up in a turnover. I don't know what we're doing.
JJ also described this as, quote, a very low communication game for the Lakers. And that's an area that I think directly reflects LeBron's absence and a reminder of what there are many things you need to account for when LeBron's not playing, but this is one of the main areas because nobody on this team communicates better, more confidently, more accurately than LeBron. Like on both sides of the ball, there are guys who talk when they're out there, like DFS is a really talky guy. Even Trey Jemison's a really talky guy, but nobody communicates more of what is needed and does it better, more accurately than LeBron. Other guys need to step up along those lines. Luka acknowledged after the game he needed to do better as a communicator, putting the role players and the guys around him in better positions to succeed, execute the offense better. Austin Reeves, as I said, he described himself as just flat out bad. And everybody is going to have to execute on a higher level if they are going to weather this storm for the next couple weeks at minimum without LeBron and Rui. And their schedule is difficult. Like I've said, they've got this upcoming road back-to-back against the Bucks and the Nuggets. And by the way, that's not even the only back-to-back they have against Milwaukee and Denver. The next are at home, but weird quirk, they're going to face those teams back-to-back. But then there's another thing that the Lakers are going to need to, if not change, at least adjust on a pretty notable level, and it involves Luka Doncic. We're going to get into that next. If you are on hold, stay there. Going to get to you. Compton Joe, I see you. 877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710.
The most followed sports radio station in the world.
In the world. That's right. In the world.
710 ESPN.
You know it. Yeah. Tell your friends.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
We're naturally entertaining.
Yes.
LA's mega sports station. 710 ESPN.
Hey, everybody, it's Cap. Are you downsizing or inheriting a home? Want to cash in on your equity? Call Sellers Advantage. They buy homes as is with no costly repairs, agents, or commissions. Get a competitive cash offer and close in days or on your timeline. Sellers Advantage has over 20 years of experience and even offers a $10,000 advance for moving expenses. Call 888-390-AS-IS or visit sellersadvantage.com for your no-obligation offer.
DRE number 01961658.
Don't worry, sell happy with Sellers Advantage.
Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, crowd rocking for Retolo Chevrolet's top hitter, Mike Capozio. He's facing off with the Bulldog, and these two have quite the history. Here's the pitch. Oh, he got all of it. That ball is out of here like a red Corvette, and it's going, and going, and going. Yes!
Dad, are you having that dream again?
Come see what the fun is all about at Retolo Chevrolet. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
All the latest surrounding the Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
With LeBron James out last night, Austin Reeves knows he should have stepped up and done better last night in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I just thought I played incredibly bad. Yeah, it's really about as much as I can say about that. Just it's frustrating not helping your team win, and when Bron's out, I got to be better, and I wasn't, and that's one of the reasons we lost.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA, 710. Before we get to a couple calls and also the item that I was saying needs to change, one of which I think is actually directly linked to the calls. Rudy, perfect, because today happens to be the 5th anniversary of the NBA.
That's right.
Shutting down when Rudy Gobert tested positive a couple days after doing the nonsense with all those recorders and microphones and pretending to touch them all. Actually not pretending to touch them all. He did touch them all. Made a big deal out of it, and this is after he noted that he wasn't feeling well. Turns out he tests positive for coronavirus. It shuts down the game that they were playing that night, shuts down the entire NBA. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson tested positive that night in Australia, and
we thought we lost Tom Hanks that night too.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, this was at a point where we were still learning in real time what all this meant, what it didn't mean, whatever. But the NBA shut down that night, and Rudy Gobert was blamed for the entire pandemic, which not really fair, but I do think it is indicative of just he is not well-liked among his peers. He's not well-liked among the fan base. I don't know exactly what it is, but people don't like Rudy Gobert. Also, I mentioned this back-to-back coming up Thursday in Milwaukee, Friday in Denver. I had hoped the Lakers might catch a break, and one of those games, either Milwaukee or Denver, they'd be on a back-to-back themselves. No dice. Both teams are going to be on one day's rest. Denver will be in part of a homestand, so they're not even dealing with any residual effects of travel.
They're playing really well right now, too.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to be super geared up for this game after the Lakers kick their asses by 23 points. So the Lakers are just going to have to push through. Before I get to this item that needs to change, let's take a couple calls. First, Compton Joe. Obviously in Compton, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, man?
What's up, AK? Man, I love your show. I love your taste in music. This is my first time calling your show. I usually call with Beto, but I wanted to just chime in on how the turnovers is killing the Lakers and how just us playing down to different competition games we should have won earlier this year. This has got to stop if you're going to get serious about making a run this year deep into the playoffs. I mean, I'm not going to even talk about NBA Finals. But I understand that we lost a lot with AD in terms of defense. I love how they stepped up while he was hurt, collectively as a team and played team defense. But that same intensity, I can't understand why the Lakers, they end up slacking off. Like, they'll play really good for like a good week. And then you'd be like, man, where y'all at? Where was the same intensity and the same collective defense that y'all was playing wholeheartedly? Now y'all just where was that same defense?
Well, I mean, look,
I'll be losing to the Brooklyn Nets.
I appreciate the call, Compton Joe. And look, to be fair to these guys on some level, it is difficult to execute that defense when you're missing that much front court and that much defense between LeBron, Hayes, Rui, and DFS. I mean, that's basically, other than Vando, the entire front court that you work with. Like, that's your entire front court rotation. That's really difficult to overcome at like a high level. I think what they were really struggling with more than even the defense, although the defense was not great against Brooklyn, I actually think in a lot of ways they were struggling more with their offense and just their inability to not just run sets, but do it smartly. I mean, JJ was livid after the game with just their decision-making, and that was something that really, really, I think he thought between Luka and Austin and some of the guys that were available, they'd be able to run some of those sets better, and they did not. Eric in L.A., you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Eric?
What's up, man? You know what the Lakers need to stop? First of all, Jared Vanderbilt being a liability on the offensive end. He needs to stop. You know, I love everything he does. He is like the modern-day Rodman. Mm-hmm. But we go 4-on-5 offensively when he's in the game. If he can have a reliable three-point shot or just not be a liability offensively like that.
You know what? It's funny, Eric. I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, it's all good.
The corner three, I'd love to see that come around. And, you know, he did hit one last night against Brooklyn. But to me, his lack of outside shooting gets focused on too much. For me, the problem with Vando offensively is he's not a consistent enough finisher. And, like, that's the thing that I expect from him. Like, if he's not a shooter, he's not a shooter. And he's never been a shooter. But Vando is athletic and physical enough, and especially because he's a good cutter. Like, he's actually capable of using defenses ignoring him to his advantage. But he's got to be able to finish more around the basket.
Yep, that, and also when he gets the ball, you know, he has to at least present an offensive, you know, do something where it provides gravity, because then it messes up the whole offensive unit. And the other thing that needs to stop happening, okay, you see without LeBron, when they blitz Luka, the offense really, it kind of goes to crap. Luka, please. Am I going to be the one to say this, or Andy? Are you going to admit that he complains a little bit too much, man?
Okay, Eric, I appreciate the call, because you're leading me exactly where I'd planned to go. This is exactly where I wanted to go with the thing that needs to change for at least the next couple weeks when you're dealing without LeBron and Rui, because we know they're going to be out that long, I'd say minimum, week and a half, 2 weeks, both of them. Which means you got to execute at an even higher level. You got to be more focused and dialed in at a higher level. You got to be able to deal with adversity at a higher level, because you're missing two very important players. On some nights, LeBron, the most important player on the court. This was a game where the Lakers got caught up in the refereeing. And in particular, Luka got caught up in the refereeing. And they felt, and, you know, Luka and Austin, to be fair, were both asked about this after the game, but they both felt that they should have gotten collectively, and I think Luka, in his case, he felt specifically, more trips to the line. Like, Luka got a tech, and it is off the top of my head the third tech he's gotten since joining the Lakers. There may be more, but I know he got one last night, he got one against Dallas, and he got one against New York. To the best of my knowledge, those are the only three he's gotten, but he's only played, I think, 11 games. So that's a lot. And there was a sequence last night in Brooklyn where Luka drove. He got some contact. And, look, you want to say he should have gotten a call? He should have gotten a call.
He's at 4 since he's been here.
Okay, 4. 4 in, I think, 11 games. Like, that's a lot. Like, frankly, it's kind of fortunate for the Lakers.
Well,
that
technically he has 9 on the season.
Right. I was going to say, it's fortunate for the Lakers in some ways that he missed those 6 weeks on Dallas's dime.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Luka would have probably 14 techs
12
by now.
or 13 or something.
14, and at 16.
And it's 15. Is it 15 or 16?
If you get your 16th, it's an automatic suspension. It's a 1-game suspension. That's what just happened with Ant in Minnesota. So Luka didn't get this call under the basket. And look, if you're asking me, do I think he had a right to be upset? Yeah, he had a right to be upset. But he basically laid on his back afterwards, I think, to like prove a point to the refs, like to further illustrate, you didn't call this, look at me, I'm on my ass because I got knocked down. And it left the Lakers fighting 4-on-5 defensively, and Brooklyn ended up getting a corner 3. And that's just the type of stuff that cannot happen. Like, it can't happen. Not without LeBron and Rui and DFS and Jackson Hayes. And when you're having so much trouble generating offense as it is, like they did last night, like, you got to do better if you're Luka and everybody else fighting through this. And Luka was asked about this last night, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lot. I think it wasn't fair. But, you know, we just got to play the game. I got to keep playing the game, but it was a lot, man. I ain't going to lie.
Look, if you're asking me, do I think Luka could get more calls in his favor? The answer is yes, in the same way that all superstars, if we were really reffing games to the letter, would get to the line more because fouls are happening on every possession. Flip side is Luka could likely get called for more fouls. And he also argues every time he ever gets called for any foul. And he just argues a lot in general. And I know that Luka is wired to play in a really passionate way, and this is part of the Luka Doncic experience. And to make it clear, I think the positives with the Luka Doncic experience are going to far outweigh the negative, and Luka is hardly the only superstar that rides the refs for an entire game. LeBron does a lot of this. I covered Kobe for 10 years. Kobe never stopped barking at the refs. And in the case of Kobe and in the case of LeBron, and I think the case of Luka last night, your team often takes the character of your leaders. And when your leaders start complaining at the refs all the time, the supporting cast, or even some of like the guys at the Pau Gasol level or the Austin Reeves level, they'll start taking Lamar Odom. They will start taking those cues as well. But coming up, I want to get into some comments from Robert Horry and James Worthy about the complaining. And if nothing else, some advice for Luka about how to handle that frustration better. Also may get into a little bit of the LeBron v. Stephen A. Part 2. And again, 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in, this is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710.
It's the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Every weekday morning at 9 a.m.
I like cash. Cash, bro. It's easy. I like cash. You know what Chuck Knox, first thing he taught us as pros when I was a rookie. Remember now, cash is untraceable. Let's have a good practice.
You know what that means?
What?
Chuck had some guys get in trouble.
You dang right.
Hey, you gotta put that on a t-shirt. Some guys leave a paper trail.
Right.
It's Trav and D-Far. Back tomorrow after Clinton and Friends.
On LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Mace. ESPN LA is proud to partner with Children's Hospital Los Angeles for the 10th annual Make March Matter campaign, helping kids get the breakthrough care they need. CHLA gives families hope with leading-edge research and treatments. ESPN LA is auctioning off exclusive 710 experiences like a premier Cosm Los Angeles Dome night, you and a friend and me. Every dollar raised goes to CHLA. Visit 710forchla.com. That's 710FORCHLA.com.
The CONCACAF Nations League finals arrive at SoFi Stadium March 20th to 23rd. USA versus Panama, followed by Canada versus Mexico. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster. For more information, visit CONCACAFNationsLeague.com/tickets.
So Mark Real from Real Fathers writes, I always say on the air, you have to have the right family law firm that is going to get you the happiness you deserve and the justice you deserve.
really the legal system is designed and set up for fathers to fail. I set out to create a firm and to create something that would help all men navigate that successfully.
We have a new phone number for Real Fathers' Rights.
833-ESPN-710.
And RFR710.com.
Yes, RFR710.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Michelle Smallman here. Do you want to be at the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft. Experience the thrill of the draft firsthand and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't wait. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
Sunday in Las Vegas, it was an offensive onslaught for the LA Kings. 6 goals at T-Mobile Arena, and they hung on to beat the Golden Knights by a final score of 6-5.
And a scrum for it, off the draw, pulled back behind the goal line. Kings fighting for it, centering pass, up top, a shot deflects toward the goal, poke free, 1 second left, Kings win!
Tonight, the Kings return home to begin a 3-game homestand, taking the ice tonight against the New York Islanders. Don't miss a second of the action. Listen live at 7:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Lakers talk continues on 710 ESPN.
After another tech from Luka last night. That's now 4 technical fouls in the 12 games since he's been with the Lakers. Still, JJ Redick doesn't see a problem with it.
No, I think he's been fine. Believe me, I've seen Luka get on the officials worse. It's just frustration. Obviously tonight, frustration, feeling like he got fouled some, and then frustration with, frankly, how he played. So it's part of it.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky right now.
Thin White Duke era.
His best era.
When David Bowie was living on nothing but, as I heard one time, cigarettes, milk, and cocaine. That was basically David Bowie's entire...
That was everyone's diet in the 70s, right?
Bowie took it to another one. Like, Bowie has admitted, like, that era did him in. He went at it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Went at it.
One of my favorite Bowie songs, this song.
Oh, I love this song. Golden Years is one of his best. It's a great, great song. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. ESPN LA is proud to partner with Children's Hospital Los Angeles for the 10th annual Make March Matter campaign, helping kids get the breakthrough care they need. CHLA gives families hope with leading-edge research and treatments, and to support this life-saving care, ESPN LA is auctioning off exclusive 710 experiences like, and you can bid on this, co-hosting Lakers Talk with me one night. And reminder, every dollar is going to go to CHLA. And also, I want to generate more bids, higher bids than Corporate Greg and those dudes over at the Blue Review. Like, they are leading right now. Now, granted, the Lakers Talk experience has only now been up a couple hours. Those guys have at least like a 36, 48, I don't even know, 72-hour head start on me. So I am racing from behind.
Yes, you can co-host with you.
Co-host me, Funchi will
I will
be here,
produce
DeAndre.
you. I will produce you.
Yes. You will actually maybe you'll do what do they call it? The sit down. You'll do an air check.
Air check. There you
go.
You'll
do an air check.
Air check. Yes, that's right.
You'll actually get professional feedback on how to.
Who knows?
Be
This could be in your audition here.
It could be. You never know. You never know. People do end up coming on one time. I don't remember who it was, but somebody actually got a pretty big start that way. Like it was Ben Lyons.
That's right.
Ben Lyons just started calling in, and then he started getting on air every now and then. Before you know it, Ben Lyons has an entire career in media. So visit 710forchla.com to bid. That's 710forchla.com to make a difference today. A couple more things I want to get to quickly before concluding on the Luka piece of this. Assuming DFS plays on Thursday, and JJ made it sound like he thought it was at least a reasonable possibility. Like, he didn't sound too concerned about DFS missing Monday night's game against Brooklyn. You know, this ankle issue has been recurrent for DFS. It was actually something I believe he was dealing with in Brooklyn. So I think they're just being cautious with him. Under the radar, DFS has really been struggling with his shot. Like, he's had, since February 22nd, here are his point totals over 8 games. 3, 2, 3, 7, 8, 2, 8. That's a total of 44 points over 8 games. He's only shot from the field 50% or higher once. He's only shot above 34% from the arc, from behind the arc once.
And he claims he's
butt naked wide open.
Exactly. Hopefully this is just a byproduct of the ankle. Maybe like it's really been bothering him over the last week or so. It explains some of the drop-off, and a couple days off between the Celtics and the game on Thursday against Milwaukee can make a difference because they need DFS. Like, not just what he brings defensively, and he's been great. They need the outside shooting. Like, they need him to be that 40% guy that he can be, or, you know, beat closeouts, get to the rim, stuff like that. But with Rui out, with LeBron out for at least week and a half, 2 weeks, they need other guys to provide that scoring, and DFS is one of them.
Butt naked wide open.
Exactly. It's going to be butt naked wide open, man. You got to make those shots. So we're talking before about Luka and his frustration with, in his mind, a lack of calls. And I think there are times where he gets fouled, doesn't get the call, in the same way every superstar gets fouled, doesn't get the call every single time. And Luka acknowledged after the game that this was upsetting to him.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lot. I think it wasn't fair. But, you know, we just got to play the game. I got to keep playing the game, but it was a lot, man. I ain't going to lie.
And Luka got a tech last night against Brooklyn for arguing no call at some point or a call against him. I don't remember exactly what brought it on, but I know he got a tee. It's his 4th tee as a Laker. He's got 9 total for the season. And, you know, it's one thing to be passionate, and Luka is known for being a very emotions-on-his-sleeve player. It's another thing, though, when you can't control your emotions or you can't channel them in ways that are productive. And Robert Horry and James Worthy for Spectrum Sportsnet talked after last night's loss about Luka needing to adjust the way he talks to the refs, at the very least. Like, it's one thing to let them know that you're unhappy, and it's another thing to constantly berate them, argue about every single call or non-call, and essentially show them up. And, like, you're either going to annoy the bleep out of them and get teed up, or you're just going to get tuned out. Like, you're just going to become white noise to them, and you're not going to get the thing you want. Robert Horry, talking afterwards, said, quote, about the refs, they're human. They can hold grudges. They can have a blind eye to certain situations. And for me, you know, the refs held the whistle a lot, talking about last night against Brooklyn, saying, yeah, Luka, other guys should have gotten more calls. And Horry talked about how, quote, that's one of the things I used to harp on talking to Shaq and talking to Kobe. Just let it go. Let your play solve everything else. Because once you play hard and play the game the right way, things will work itself out. And then, you know, he also mentioned, too, Horry, that it's on J.J. Redick and the coaching staff to dial Luka back when needed, to make sure that they don't get caught up in the refs and not the games at a time where they have to execute at their highest given everyone that's missing. And Horry also mentioned that Phil Jackson used to fine guys $100 if they were complaining too much. Might have to raise that up now a little bit in 2025.
Wow.
But yeah.
I never knew that.
He said they used to fine him Phil used to fine him $100, as he put it, just for the fun of it, if they complained too much. Then James Worthy, I thought, brought up something really interesting as well. And there's a way to talk to the refs too, he said. Usually, if you contain yourself, it's not initially. It's like 2 plays later when someone's at the foul line. Then you walk over to them and say to the refs, hey, he got me. He fouled me. You don't want to embarrass the referees. There's a way that you can talk to them, and it's not the way Luka's talking to them because they don't want to hear that right away. And they do make mistakes. They know that. And this is something else I would add to that conversation, like the idea of why it matters how Luka talks to the refs and not always having your action be to berate them, to scream at them, to be in their faces. As high profile as Luka has always been in the NBA, it's on another level now with the Lakers. Like, he is on national TV more than he's ever been. He is on a team that will be talked about more than he's ever been. Like, even Dallas, when they went to the finals last year, they will not be talked about in the same way with the same frequency as the Lakers. That's just the way the world works. Ask Charles Barkley, he never stops complaining about it. So you're already talking about a higher profile amount of games that Luka is going to be playing. And the Lakers are already a team attached to a narrative that they live at the line. It's just a continual parade to the line because it's part of a league-mandated thing to make the Lakers good, to make them relevant, to try to get them to the finals because that's what everyone wants. The refs are in on it, yada, yada, yada. It's not true. It's not accurate, but that's already out there. And everybody involved is aware of perception. So I'm guessing the refs are going to be even more self-conscious about the way that they call games involving Luka to avoid, the appearance of being a part of this grand conspiracy that, again, does not exist. But also, too, the idea of, I am not going to let you show me up on national TV. I am not going to let the world see you bully me into giving you calls. And the more you are up in my face bitching about this, the more I'm going to, at best, ignore you and just let you scream into the void, or at worst, I'm going to tee you up twice, and then you get the boot. And that's just something Luka's going to need to adjust. Again, the passion is great, and I can understand if to some degree that this is something that he needs to channel the best version of himself. Like, there are some people that are wired to need an adversary. Like, I think Russell Westbrook is a lot like that. Like, Russell Westbrook is a feuder. Like, there are people, sometimes people get described as fighters. And I think some of those people that get described as fighters, in reality, if you really look at what they're doing, they're feuders. I think Russell Westbrook was like that. Russ needs an adversary at all times.
He needs conflict.
Yes, he needs conflict. I think feuders, in general, need conflict. I don't know Luka well enough, haven't been around him enough to know if for the entirety of his personality he needs conflict or needs a feud. I can tell you on the court he absolutely does. Like, Luka has an enemies list in the NBA that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. He takes stuff very personally. Ask the Clippers. He loves to destroy them. Ask Rudy Gobert. He loves to destroy Gobert. He loves to go at certain players. And that's by the way, that's the best kind of petty. But I think he also channels a lot of that feuding towards the referees. And after a certain point, I don't think it's productive for Luka, and I definitely don't think it's productive for the Lakers, especially now when they're shorthanded and they have to be as dialed into all of the details as possible if they're going to get through this really tough slate of games. And that becomes that much more difficult when you are seeing your leader caught up in the referees. And as long as the leader's caught up in the referees, everyone else is going to be caught up in the referees. And then before you know it, the Lakers get distracted and they lose a game to the Nets. I'm not saying it's the only reason that they lost to the Nets. They did a lot of things wrong. I'm just saying in a game where J.J. Redick talked about their lack of focus, the lack of execution, looking to take shortcuts, not following details, making stupid decisions while they're on the court, it's probably not a coincidence that it was a night where they were getting caught up in the refs. So something for Luka, I think, to be mindful of moving forward. All right, as always, we are going to close things out because it's a short show with Crunch Time. Funchy's got the topics. We will react and discuss. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710.
Sedano and Cap.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. after Mason and Ireland.
Yes, you've inspired me. I've decided to go with a much shorter haircut now. I just decided to just 86.
Well, it looks cleaner, that's for sure.
The whole Jufro
I'm looking at
thing.
it now.
Yeah, I mean, it was like such a big, giant Jufro. I'm like, all right, I'm taking the whole thing down.
But you know what that means when you go shorter hair?
Tell me.
You got to be careful what you eat. You go shorter hair,
yeah,
and the face explodes and expands.
Oh yeah, you get fat.
You look even heavier.
You look fatter than you already do, huh?
More visceral fat.
Yeah, so
more
bigger, right? Facts, right, DeAndre?
Facts,
If you got short crop, you got to make sure to keep the face tight because if you don't, it's gonna look bigger and rounder than it normally will.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like my chin gets big and fat, my fat cheeks, you know.
The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN.
One of LA's best kept secrets in the heart of Los Angeles, East Central Hotel offers effortless accommodations and unparalleled accessibility. The East Central Hotel is for everyone looking for entertainment with their trendy spacious rooms, a renovated gym, and a patio lounge for breakfast, dinner, and drinks. Stop by their incredible Nixo Lounge before your next event at LA Live. Book your stay at eastcentralhotel.com or call 213-748-1291 today at Entertainment's official address.
Hey, it's D4. The best sports trips aren't just about the game. It's about the whole experience. With Absolute Sport, that experience is built around you. Whether it's an El Clasico match followed by a night in Madrid, oh yeah, or a company outing at the U.S. Open, they'll customize everything to fit your perfect trip. If your event has a ticket, they'll build a package around it. So what are you waiting for? Visit us.absolute-sport.com. That's ABSOLUT-sport and make your dream trip a reality.
ESPN LA and BBGO are going on a quest for the Lakers GOAT. No, not the GOAT. The GOAT. The greatest Lakers fan of all time. Think it's you? Upload your pic or video to Facebook, Instagram, X, or TikTok, and tell us your favorite Lakers memory. Use hashtag LakersGoat, GFOAT, and hashtag promotion, and follow at ESPN Los Angeles. The Lakers GOAT is going to be rewarded with courtside seats, a VIP private tour of the Lakers UCLA Health Training Center, a year's supply of BBGO, and more. The Lakers GOAT. Is it you?
Hey, it's Mace. Looking for some fun? Dive into Chumba Casino, your ultimate destination for free, fun-to-play social casino games. Play slots, bingo, and more whenever and wherever you want. With new games dropping every week, there's always something fresh. Lounge on the sofa or play on the go. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Available only to players in the U.S., excluding Washington, Michigan, Montana, Connecticut, and Nevada, and Canada, excluding Quebec. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Sunday in Las Vegas, it was an offensive onslaught for the LA Kings. 6 goals at T-Mobile Arena, and they hung on to beat the Golden Knights by a final score of 6-5.
And a scrum for it, off the draw, pulled back behind the goal line. Kings fighting for it, centering pass, up top, a shot deflects toward the goal, poke free, 1 second left, Kings win!
Tonight, the Kings return home to begin a 3-game homestand, taking the ice tonight against the New York Islanders. Don't miss a second of the action. Listen live at 7:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
It's crunch time on Lakers Talk.
When the clock is ticking and it's all coming down to the wire, you know what that means.
This is crunch time.
All right, as always, we close out with a little crunch time. Funchy's got the topics. What's up?
All right, so Nikola Jokic blew up the NBA world over the weekend with the first ever 30-20-20 stat line in NBA history. And we got to talking earlier, and I posed you the question. Is Nikola Jokic's 30-20-20 more impressive than Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, which actually just had his anniversary like a week ago?
That's a really, really interesting question. And I had never thought about it along those terms before. I mean, goes without saying, they're both pretty spectacular achievements. But I will say this. There is more versatility and more different ways to affect a game that's being shown in a 30-20-20. Although, to truly answer this, we need to know Wilt's rebound and assist count in that game.
You know what? I'm going to go find it.
Yeah, because we do actually need to know that. Because, like, one way of looking at this, for example, is with 30 points and 20 assists, Jokic accounted for, like, directly generated at minimum 70 points in that game. Because
I got
20 assists is at minimum 40 points. Maximum, it could be 60. But the point being, 70 points minimum, and that's before you even get to the rebounds.
Now, this is what the NBA officially credited Wilt Chamberlain on that day. 100 points, 25 rebounds.
Okay, stop. Wilt wins. Stop.
25 rebounds, only 2 assists.
I still got to give 125. Wilt wins. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what Jokic did. Like 30-20-20 is just stupid production. That's insane.
But you know what? I would say this, though. I think 30-20-20 is more attainable than getting 100 points in a game.
Ooh. That's also interesting.
I mean, in this day and age, I suppose.
Well, and I do not know the answer to this. This is something off the top of my head. We would need like a Stats Williams to do the deep dive. But like, how many people? We know the closest to 100 was Kobe with 81.
Yes,
so that's within 19 points. There's been a handful of 70-point games, like a lot of 60s and 50s. But 81 is the closest to 100 anyone's ever gotten. What is the closest to 30, 20, and 20? Because there can't be that many. Like 30, 20, and 20 is insane.
I mean, you hear 20-20 games, you know, but you don't hear 30-20-20, obviously.
Actually, I want to look right now, too, like Luka or Jokic's stat line. Like, how many blocks did he have in that game? Like, how much other stuff? I mean, they're
going to critique him. We're going to critique him, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm in order to answer this question, you have to split hairs. Because they're both so mind-bogglingly incredible. If you're even going to attempt an answer, attempting an answer means splitting hairs and being petty about this. Wilt, by the way, too, had a season where he averaged nearly 9 assists a game. Had another one where he averaged nearly 8 assists a game.
Jokic had 3 steals, no blocks.
Okay. Gun to my head, I'm giving the edge to Wilt, 100 points, 25 rebounds, but you want to make the argument for Luka, I'm not going to argue that hard. I mean, excuse me, for Nikola Jokic, I'm not going to argue that hard.
Do you think the 100-point game will ever be broken?
Yeah, I do think it's possible. With the way guys are shooting threes now, I do think it could be
He's going to
possible.
have to hit like 15 threes.
Yeah.
If they can hit 15 threes in a game, I think they got a shot.
If you're somebody that can hit threes and you get to the line, like somebody like Wemby, I think could have a possibility of it because he has made the three a part of his game and he gets to the line and he's automatic around the rim. So I think someone like Wemby has an opportunity. Tell you, if he cared, if he cared, Jokic could maybe. If he cared enough to do it, he doesn't.
Maybe. All right. Next question, we have Dan Hurley, coach of the UConn Huskies.
He could not get 100 points in a game.
He's still complaining. He's still complaining about why he did not take the Laker job. We're just still telling people why he did not take the Laker job.
Okay.
He was on 60 Minutes over the weekend, and him and his wife, they explained that it was based on their kids not wanting to relocate their kids. But now this is the one that we kind of always knew or whatever. He was afraid to fail at the next level.
That's an interesting question. That's an interesting statement.
Yeah, that he was afraid. Like, we never heard that, but, you kind of thought that maybe a guy like that is not taking a job because he's scared, right?
Well, scared may be overstating it, but it does speak to the idea of why, if the Lakers wanted to get Dan Hurley, they needed to offer him more money than they did, because it reinforces the idea of his UConn setup is so great and he is royalty in those parts. There is no pressing reason for him to leave. Like, it's so good. It's one of the reasons, like, somebody like JJ Redick, you know how badly he wants to coach because his setup in media was sweet. And he made a lot of money.
And he's still looking back on this. I still think he made the wrong decision.
JJ?
No.
Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley. You're going to one of the premier teams in the world. And if you fail, I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't go back to college and take any job you want.
Okay, to be fair to Dan Hurley, he is talking about an organization that had been a revolving door at coach. So I could understand if he had concerns that they wouldn't give him enough patience. I can't understand that.
I mean, just, the Lakers call, the Yankees call, the Cowboys call. You got to take the job. You have to take the job no matter who you are.
He has such a sweet gig, though.
It is a sweet
he
gig.
Really
it is a sweet gig, but still, I felt like if he would have just took the job, if he would have failed with the Lakers, he still could have had any job in college.
No, I understand, but still, nonetheless, I get it. All right, this has been a fun night. Again, short show. Appreciate the calls. Appreciate, obviously, Funchy here. We're going to be back next week, 6 to 8, Tuesday. So Tuesday, the 18th, again, a reminder, bid for the opportunity to co-host to co-host Lakers Talk with me. And again, very, very excited and appreciative that everybody was here. Coming up next, Kings Hockey, 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland